Hey guys, so today on the chopping block we've got a new knife from VC Edge. So I've been trying to get one of these knives for the longest time, and I would see his posts on Instagram about them, and every time a drop came up, somehow I'd always forget about it, be out doing something else, and by the time I remember to do it, obviously they're all gone. But I finally got my hands on one and got it in yesterday. Had 24 hours to look at it and play with it. So now we'll see what I think. So it comes in this cardboard box. Got a piece of padding on the front, piece of padding on the back. Knife comes in this little drawstring pouch. There you go. Also comes with a certificate of authenticity from Jayson. Now the problem with this one is that it's actually, I think, labeled 64 or 69, and it's got the wrong colors on it and stuff. Yeah, this one's blue. This one says it's bronze. Oh well. Mine is actually number 59. And, I sent Jayson a message on Instagram about it, and he was kind enough to let me know he'll have another certificate on the way shortly. So what I love most about this knife is that it's just super lightweight. Let's just get that out of the way. Scale for you here. All right, zero that out. 1.6 ounces. Now, I don't know if this is any lighter, but the previous versions Jayson made, I know around 1.7, 1.65, but mine isn't, my scale isn't that accurate. So, anywhere between 1.6, 1.7, but still just stupid light. The only knife I have that's actually smaller than, or lighter than this one would be my UTX 70. It's about 1.2 ounces, so anyways, wondering 35 grams versus about 46 grams, so what, like 10 grams less for a knife that's significantly larger. You can see that for comparison right there. Think about that. It's only 10 grams heavier than that tiny UTX 70. I think that's just ridiculous. Size comparisons, I don't have any, I guess, standard knives that people might have to compare them to. Here is a Guardian Tactical Mini Helix, or sorry, Helix Nano, also in carbon fiber. And then here is a Mongoose from Jerry Moen, also in carbon fiber. So funny enough, even though the interface is the biggest knife, it's still the lightest by a large margin. It's, 1 or 2 ounces heavier than the Nano, and it is almost an ounce lighter than the Mongoose. If you hear any noises in the background, ignore that. It's just my buddy Gunner moaning and groaning on the floor. So, the interface. Obviously, you can tell that got carbon fiber on the show and lock side. Cool thing about this is the blade as well is mostly carbon fiber, with a piece of M390 sandwiched in between right there. So about, about that far into the blade, you'll have that piece of M390 steel, and the rest of it is just carbon fiber. For anyone that's interested, Jayson actually has a full-on series on his YouTube channel. I believe it's also VC Edge, detailing how he makes these knives, and it's just amazing seeing how he does it and how much time and effort goes into making one of these, even though he does use a CNC, a Tormach, to make these knives. So it is a not really a subframe lock. His original design was, but because of the patent issues, changed it over to this, which I don't even know what you would call this design for the lock bar right here, but essentially it's kind of just wedged in there and held on with some high strength epoxy resin. And then it holds it in place, lets it cure. And now it's just, you know, basically one solid piece, not really any flex to it. And it holds it in pretty well. It does have a stainless lock insert. I don't know how well you can see that in there. Screwed into the titanium lock bar. And everything in there is just very much, even the carbon fiber, hollowed out. Show side and lock side as well. Even the back spacer, kind of hard to show you here, but you know, if you look at his pictures on Instagram, you'll see that all inside there has actually been milled out. Same thing with the pocket clip. I'm not sure if the pivot barrel is titanium or steel, but if it isn't, if it is titanium, then the only real piece of steel on here would be just the edge of the blade protruding right there, which would be amazing. Prevent any corrosion or anything like that from getting into the pivot and having to worry about that. Not that I assume, you know, most people having this will ever really take it out and, you know, do hard use with it. You know, I could be wrong, but for the most part, I think, you know, it's going to stay in collectors' pockets, you know, cut packages open, stuff like that. Nothing really super hard use into it, given that it is a little bit pricey. Some models run about, you know, $750, $780. This one was, I think, $730, or sorry, $830. I'm not sure what the price difference is. They do come in different, you know, handle materials, all carbon fiber, different kinds of carbon fiber. Some are unidirectional. This one is more like a twill. The blades, I believe, all do come in the unidirectional carbon as well. So how he actually makes these is, instead of just, I guess, slotting the piece of blade into there, he'll actually have two halves of these carbon fiber, you know, I guess, I don't know what you call it, blade bodies. And then he'll sandwich that piece of steel in between there, you know, let everything cure up, use that same high strength resin. And then, after everything's been mated up nicely, he'll take, you know, about an hour or something like that to polish out, you know, make everything nice and even. And just even running my fingernail on there, I cannot feel a seam between the carbon fiber and the M390. The only place I can really tell is right at the tip. If I were to, you know, kind of feel that with my fingernail, I can sort of feel it where it mates up at the tip right there. But other than that, it's just, you know, it's amazing. And I've seen composite, you know, composite blade materials where I guess the rest of the blade will be titanium or, you know, Timascus, something like that. And the hard edge will be some sort of, you know, hardened steel. And usually with stuff like that, you end up with a really, really bulky and heavy blade, you know, even with the titanium replacing most of the steel. I forget who makes them. I actually haven't seen any of his blades out there for a while, but yeah, not too many people really do the composite blades all that much. And I think Jayson has just run it out of the park with this one. Aside from having, you know, the name of the knife, the interface right there, and the serial number, I did not realize that he also did engrave, it's going to be a little hard to tell, but on the inside of the show scale, he did engrave VC Edge, as well as it says USA, and the date of manufacture for this. So mine was made in October of 2021. And through the you know, the different batches, Jayson does make new iterations for different parts of it. Like I believe it's just this latest batch that he's managed to make the clip even lighter. Somebody complained that, you know, it was a little too stiff to open it, get into the pocket. So he thinned it out a little bit more. give it a little bit more flex. And, you know, to me, it feels pretty good. I don't really have any complaints about the pocket clip. The aside from obviously the weight, you know, I've told people that honestly, it just feels like you're holding cardboard sometimes, you know. Really cool piece of cardboard, because it feels like nothing. You know, when I got the box, it doesn't even feel like there's anything in there, just because, you know, this knife is so light for how big it is. But the second thing that I really love about it is you can hear sort of like a double click as soon as you open it. It's the detent breaking, and then the blade and the lock bar closing up. So if you can hear that, it's a really nice positive click with the detent breaking, and then, you know, you get the lock up. So you hear that sort of double click. I don't know, there's just something about it. It just sounds good. It sounds right. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but hey, you know, another good thing that I like about it. Something to note is that even for such a light blade, it does just fall shut. You know, not exactly drop shut, but, you know, pretty close for such a light blade. Just a little bit of wiggle. And as soon as that detent breaks, that thing just screams open. I actually have to, you know, think about it and try to not get it to fully engage close or engage open. It's really hard to get it to do. Yeah, so you really have to try. 99% of the time, that just flicks open. Again, which it's just incredible to think about how light that blade is, and it still has that positive click every time. I'm not even applying all that much force. It just, as soon as that detent breaks, it just flies open. It does have, I don't know if you guys can tell, but right there, it does have a flat face detent, which I thought was very intriguing, and I don't know if that helps it just glide smooth. See that if there's take off the pressure on the lock bar, that blade just flies open. And also, it's hard to tell, but he did carve a sort of a lip, I guess, into the titanium washers as he's machining them, and those washers with the ceramic bearings in them made up against some ceramic spacers in there, which are, I guess, recessed into the handles and the blade. So there's one on each side of the washer, so there's four, or each side of the titanium bearings, or bearings holding the piece of titanium holding the ceramic bearings in. So it sandwiches, you know, each of those. So there's four in here. And because they're, you know, recessed into the frames, into the blade, and you have that lip on the bearings, it seals it up, you know, not exactly watertight, but good enough to keep, you know, a lot of dust, sand, dirt, and grime from getting into there, and keeping nice and clean, nice and smooth for that flipping action. And I've had this knife for about 24 hours, and it just is amazing to play with. It's just stupid light, super snappy. And if you watch his series, it's just a marvel of how he makes this, puts it all together. My one complaint that I've found so far is that right here on the, I don't know if you would call that the chamfer, but you can sort of hear it, and you can definitely feel it with your fingers and your nail. It's a bit of like, I guess, a burr from just machining the part out. Same thing on the pocket clip right here. And it's just a bit, you know, it doesn't really hurt to feel it, but it's just a little interesting to have that on there. I don't know, I might take a diamond file and just hit those edges a little bit and try to tame it all down. But, you know, There it is, you guys, the interface. All right, let me go take my dog out before he has a little accident in the house. Thanks for watching.